pride to be here, and welcome to Making Focaccia, brought to you by me, Haley, featuring a stolen apron from the Cal High backstage of the theater. Zoe wanted me to do this, and I thought it would be fun, so I'm gonna do it. Alright, I have the recipe here. I've made this like 4 weekends in a row, so I don't really, need the recipe anymore, but I just want it just in case. I have it in my handy dandy notebook, which is also my diary. So,
oh fuck! I've never eaten cheesecake before.
You've never eaten cheesecake before?
I feel like it's gonna be ass.
How is it?
Not for me.
Okay.
I feel about pro jam.
Alright, actually, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wash our hands, because you don't want to be fucking gross.
I'm feeling like Shark's about to eat.
Dude, why did you put peanuts down the drain?
You're down the drain. That was raw.
Alright, now that your hands are clean, we're gonna start with the dough, officially. We're gonna start with 5 1/3 cups flour and all-purpose flour. The recipe specifically asks for all-purpose flour because it's like the most standard flour, and also the other flours, like in the It's Alive video with Brad and Samin, the creator of this recipe, she specifically says don't use any of like the fancy flours, because she describes them as like thirstier than other flours, meaning they'll take more liquid than what's required in the recipe. So just using all-purpose flour from like Safeway is perfectly alright. So 5 1/3 cups. And I'm putting it into this Dutch oven.
What happened? You only give her?
Cool. Alright. Putting it into this Dutch oven. This is going to be its home for the next 12 to 14 hours. I'm not really measuring out the flour. It's more of just like a... It's not really an estimation, because you're still using the cup, but, you could always add more or less than 1 cup. So that's what I'm doing. And then, I'm not even using a separate thing for the 3rd cup measurement. I'm just kind of like estimating out, like, I think that's 1/3 of a cup. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Measurements are a lie. Time is an illusion. So now that we have that done, we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. The original recipe asks for 1.5, but I'm using 1 instead, because the first time I made it, it was way too salty. So, the good thing about recipes, and Brad always says this, and It's Alive, recipes are kind of just like a guideline. They help you know where to start, but you can always tweak it any way you want, and that's the fun thing. So I'm just kind of mixing it with my hands so you can get the salt and the flour incorporated. I'm going to make this whole... My family is loud. So I'm just kind of mixing this with my hands. I'm going to do this whole dough by hand, because I don't like mixing with spoons, because first of all, I don't like to get spoons dirty. Anyway, now we're going to start with the liquid measuring. So you're going to need 2.5 cups of lukewarm water. You're going to put the yeast into this water, and if it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast, and if it's too cold, it won't work. So lukewarm water, it's just, there's no specific temperature, it's just kind of like a, what lukewarm feels like. Alright, now that we have our lukewarm water, we're going to add, we're going to add 2.5 teaspoons of honey, I just kind of like eyeball it again. Everything is relative. No one will care. I stir this with a knife, just cause. And we're also going to add a half of a teaspoon of yeast. I'm going to wait to stir that until we have the yeast. Alright, this is the only thing that I measure, really, besides the salt. Just cause. Okay, it's time to stir with a knife. So you're just going to kind of stir this until honey dissolves and until the yeast dissolves. It might not be warm enough, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. This is a very forgiving dough because it'll sit for a long time. So if anything is like off, you'll have 12 to 14 hours to forget about it. Wow, look at this. This is so professional. So I'm just going to kind of, oh shit, I just spilled a lot. So I'm just going to kind of do this, and I'm going to mix with one hand, and just like get all the liquid incorporated before you add more. Alright, I'm going to get this huge knife, and I'm going to take this cutting board. Just have shit everywhere, Jesus. Oh, this is from when I spilled the butter mixture. Cool. Love finding that out. Alright, so I'm going to take a couple sprigs of rosemary. I'd say like 3. Depending on how big they are. 3 is good. So then, I'm going to wash them in cold water. And then I'm going to go like this. I'm going to start from the top, and I'm going to, oh shit, that didn't work. Well, what I was trying to do is get all of the rosemary sprigs. Is that what, is the big one called a sprig? I don't know, leaves? Ah, here we go. Alright, just kind of like peel it off. And then you're left with this, and just toss it there, and deal with it later. Alright. So now I'm just going to take this rosemary and I'm just going to chop it. Just kind of like go back and forth. Rock it. And like just get it chopped up like kind of finely. It's okay if there's some big pieces because like I said, nothing matters. The earth is dying. And now I have no fear of knives. Oh, this is like binging with Babish. So now, we're going to add olive oil. Oh, here's the liquid measuring cup. I don't know why I was looking in a drawer. Alright. You're going to need 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. Alright, I'm using this olive oil because that's what Rob bought me. And so it just goes right in there. Ooh, this is a good angle. Okay, so then you're just gonna, ooh, okay. So you're just gonna fold it over itself and incorporate all of the rosemary. Have ever made slime before, but making focaccia is a lot like making slime because they feel the same. And so you'll know when it's done mixing when it no longer sticks to your hand because of the olive oil that was incorporated, but it's supposed to be like a wet dough. So it's supposed to just like look shiny and kind of liquidy still. And that's perfect. Alright, we're just going to put this little lid on, and then that's it. And we're going to let that sit for 12 to 14 hours. I made it now at 8 o'clock at night because I know that my lazy ass is not going to get up any earlier than 9 or 10. So I make it in the nighttime so I don't have to wake up super early, and then I don't have to worry about the dough over fermenting. So that's what's happening when you're letting the dough rest. It's basically fermenting and rising. The dough is going to double in size. Usually when I check on it, it's all the way up to the top. It's risen at least, I'd say 4 inches. So it's more than doubled in size, in my case. And I'm going to come back tomorrow, and I'm going to bake everything, and I'll make another video about that. So yeah, this was fun. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to clean up the kitchen, and I will be back in 12 to 14 hours. So,
hi everybody. Happy Mother's Day.
Okay, welcome back. It's 1 year anniversary of my tattoos.
Oh, all 10 of them?
I have 7. Alright, so it's time for focaccia part 2. It's time to get Alright. Get this. We're gonna get this. Ooh, look at that! It's fun! Cool!
Focaccia bread. Have you tried doing focaccia? Oh my god, it's so good.
Well, you will. In a little bit. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. I already washed my hands because you don't want to be gross. And then you're gonna pour olive oil. I'm gonna do like this. And you're gonna rub it like this. Happy Mother's Day, Grandpa.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Grace.
Pour it out. This is my favorite part.
You want me to help you?
No, it's okay. Because it looks like webbing.
It would?
The flour and the water like rises, and it looks like webbing inside. So like when you pour it out, it's fun. Thank you. Like you just like soak it in hot water. All right, and then you're gonna spread it out. So I baked the focaccia and let it rise, but it got stuck to the bottom, which has never happened to me before, so I was a little bit sad. But it's fine because you know, I got it unstuck and I'm very tired. I'm gonna try a little bit.
I'm gonna go pay this car. We gotta go, we gotta go!
I forgot my fanny pack again. So
Have it again,
I
huh?
know, I'm going to get it right now.
Oh god, it's salty, it's
I know,
crispy,
it's been here for months.
it tastes like rosemary. the oils from the rosemary go into the dough. Nice. Yeah, Graham, you want to try some?
Yeah, God, I'm just like a big pig.
Oink.
Kill. What bag are you bringing, babe?
I'm not bringing a bag.
That smells.
Numb.
Isn't it good?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that is good.
I know.
Where'd you find this recipe?
Salt, fat, acid, heat. Show on Netflix.
Grab me that
That's
bottle of
wonderful.
will you?
Right, you heard it here first.